Pokemon card prices are going all over the place right now, and I normally cover, cards which are going up in value, going down in value, week by week, and seeing what has been going on in the Pokemon market. But this video is going to be slightly different. We're going to be going through 8 cards today, which I think are great pickups right now. And I think these are going to be really good just because they are falling in price, and I think they'll be very, very good for that long term if you're looking to add cards in your collection, or maybe to get them graded and try and get a little bit more money that way, of course. So today we'll be looking at PokeJace, and we're going to be going through 8 different cards, which I think are great pickups. Let's get into it. Okay, first one we're looking at today is Chansey Illustration Rare from Twilight Masquerade. Now, this is an OG, which a lot of people do like, and I actually like this artwork. 1, because it features a lot of different Pokemon, and I'm a huge fan of that. And 2, I think the overall reception, as it were, from the Chansey card is quite positive, and people do like it. And Twilight Masquerade is an interesting set in the fact it's got tough pull rates, and booster boxes get more expensive, and I think this will be a good one moving forward. So yes, raw, we're looking at roughly around $20 or under $20 for the Chansey, and the PSA 10 we're looking at $96. Yes, it has dropped quite heavily in that PSA 10 price. It was nearly $200. If we remove PSA and we look at the raw price, we can see that it did actually reach around $30, and it has now dropped down to $20. It does have that potential to go back up there, of course. And the interesting thing, and I want to kind of point this out, is you look at the Sun and Moon era, and you look at cards like the tag team cards, they have seen a real big boom, and even just the normal GX tag team cards. Then you look at Sword and Shield, and we saw a big boom in Trainer Gallery and Galarian Gallery cards. So what subset of cards could we see in Scarlet and Violet? And I actually think it's going to be the illustration rares. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm trying to collect every single illustration rare in the Scarlet and Violet era, because I believe that they are going to have a little bit of a potential boom in the future. But it'd be interesting to see if they do. But I think they'll do very well, and I think Chansey is going to be one of them, especially from Twilight Masquerade, under $20. It's a good little pickup, and I think it has that potential in the long haul. Then we're going to move over to Evolving Skies. We're looking at the Umbreon VMAX. This is just a normal Umbreon VMAX. This isn't like an OR or anything like that. This is actually fetching a pretty high price, around $15. I remember when this was like $2, do you know what I mean? But look, in a PSA 10, we're looking at $83, which is pretty impressive for this Umbreon, especially just for a regular VMAX. But Evolving Skies is just so expensive to open. Like, a pack is nearly like twice the price of this card. So you're not going to be cracking packs to get this. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we're looking like falling from 115 in the PSA 10 has been slipping recently. But we look at the raw price of this, and overall it has been going up. We see over the past 6 months, it was around an $8 to $9 card, and it's pretty much gained 50%, more than 50% in value over the past 6 months. It's an evolution. It's Umbreon. It's from Evolving Skies. Can I say anything more? This card is just going to keep going up and up and up. Prime example would again be like the tag team. I think it's like the Gengar. I think it's Gengar Mimikyu from maybe Team Up. Whichever set it's from, the regular one, that shot up massively. And again, that's just a regular tag team. This has the potential to shoot up as well. And pretty much anything Eevee, anything Umbreon, and anything Evolving Skies is just doing incredibly well. And I think this is a great one. If you're an Eevee fan, you don't have this, I think now's a good time to get it. I just don't see it falling, just because Evolving Skies keeps getting more and more expensive. But I do think this will be a very good one to get for a collection, but also if you wanted to get it graded as well, I think is a pretty good one. Speaking of Gengar, we now have the Gengar from Lost Origin. This is the Trainer Gallery card. This one's done very well. So this one here, we're looking around about $16 raw, but look at that, $160 in a PSA 10. Over the past 6 months, it went from $60 all the way up to $200 in a PSA 10, and is slipping a little bit, but that's insane. This used to be like a $4 card. It wasn't that expensive. Lost Origin is getting more expensive, of course. Gengar, it's cool artwork as well. And again, Trainer Gallery. This was what we were talking about earlier. Trainer Gallery had a boom. This was one of the cards that saw that boom, which is great, right? If we look at the raw price as well, look at that. Gains here, look, $6 it was, and now we're looking at nearly triple in value. In fact, it was at one point. So again, this is going to be a good one. Lost Origin, hard to get hold of. Not the easiest card to pull either, because there's a big pool of cards in the Trainer Gallery slot. And, booster boxes get more expensive. So for me, I think Gengar from Lost Origin is going to be a pretty good one, especially in a PSA 10. Then back to Scarlet and Violet. We're looking at Scarlet and Violet base. We have the Slowpoke. $20 roughly, just under $20 for this one. Look at this guy's in the PSA 10, $300. Look how many there is in a PSA 10, far less than in 9s. Tough card to get a 10, but if you do, you get heavily rewarded. Has fallen though. It was $550, so it's dropped $250 in that PSA value over time. It's still very, very expensive. If we look at the raw value of this, it's kind of near enough the same where it was. It was $10. Oh, okay, same. Okay, still doubled, right? But it was nearly $40. So it nearly like quadrupled in value and has now dropped a fair amount and still double in value over 6 months ago, which is very, very impressive. Tough card to grade though. If you do pick this up and you do want to get it graded, make sure you really take a look at the conditioning of the card, because it is tough to get in a 10. But if you do get in a 10 though, that is a big card, big card. And again, it's an OG, really cool, unique artwork. And Scarlet and Violet base has some really nice illustration rares in them, and I think this is one of the better ones. Next up, we're going for 151. We got the Poly Whirl coming in. We're looking around $16 on average, 105 in a PSA 10. I think a lot of people like this card just because the artwork is so awesome, and 151 is fantastic. So this card was around $100 in a 10. Did actually reach nearly 200 back in March, but it has seen a dip since then. We've seen a lot of 151 slide in value. I guess more of the sets being opened across the board. But overall here, we're looking at this card being around $12. It actually peaked to around mid to low 20s and has dipped a little bit since then. So still up on the 6 month period, but overall it's doing pretty well. But man, in that 10, $105, it's a pretty good one. 151 has pretty good pull rates, but it is getting more expensive. So keep that in mind of trying to get hold of the Polywell. But I do feel like it's a good one to get anyway, especially if you don't have it, and the artwork looks absolutely incredible. Sticking with 151, we got the Giovanni's Charisma. Of course, we've seen Giovanni or anything Team Rocket right now go through the absolute roof, and this is no exception, okay? This is a pretty cheap card raw. We're looking at just under $20 for this one. But look at the PSA 10 price, guys. $140. It did actually peak at $200 in a PSA 10, but it was around $70, and it's still pretty much doubled in value over the past 6 months, which is very, very impressive in a PSA 10. If we look at the raw price of this one, it has fallen, which is great. It means we can pick it up for a cheaper price. We're looking at about $12 there, and of course now we're looking at roughly around $16 or so there. It actually reached highs of over $30. This was like the hype of Team Rocket, of the announcement, of course, of Destined Rivals, and so on and so forth, but it has been falling since then. So I think right now this is a really good pickup, especially if you want to get it graded. Beautiful artwork as well, and it's from 151. Same with the Polywell. It's getting hard to get hold of, getting more expensive. Not the easiest card to pull, but still a really good one. Then on to Crown Zenith. We're looking at the Galarian Gallery this time. This is the Mew, probably one of the nicest Mew artworks I've seen in a very long time. This one is under $20. Look at this one in a PSA 10. We're looking at $112 in a 10. Very impressive. And again, it was around $170, $180, and it has fallen, so $110 there. It was around $60, so it's doubled in value pretty much over the past 6 months. It tripled in value at one point, but it has slipped a little bit. Look at the raw price of this. Now, Crown Zenith is getting more expensive. This isn't the easiest card to pull. Galarian Gallery is a huge subset within Crown Zenith, so getting this card is tough. Keep that in mind. But raw price, this was an $8 card, and now we're looking at a card that's doubled in value. At one point, it was nearly $20, so it's still doing really well. I would pick this one up. I think this is a huge fan favorite. It's adorable artwork. Crown Zenith, people love the set. It grades very well. Like, look, there's a decent amount of 10s compared to 9s. It does grade pretty nicely. To keep that one in mind. Very, very good card. And I think Mew fan favorite. People can look back at Crown Zenith and want to be after this amazing looking card. I think you'll do well. And then finally today, we're still in Crown Zenith. We're going to finish off with Pikachu. This one had a really interesting journey. So we're looking around $15. Okay, so pretty good. PSA 10, 85. Has slipped a little bit. Its high in a 10 was around 110. Was 60, so it's gone up a little bit over the past 6 months. It has fallen also out of favor. But look how many they're graded, right? 16,000 in a 10, 10,000 in a 9. This card's been graded so heavily. Keep that one in mind. But it's the raw price I want to talk about with this card. Where the average raw market price started off at $8, and then it went up and stayed and went up to around about 18 and is dipped down to about 16. Okay, whereas on TCG Player it went from 8 all the way up to 20 or 21 right? When the market price was half of that. So it doubled in value on TCG Player, and then they kind of corrected and it stayed pretty consistent throughout, which is kind of a bit weird. But yeah, I think this one's still going to be great. Amazing card. Again, Crown Zenith, same as the Mew. It's going to be tough. This is the secret rare. This isn't in the Glaring Gallery subset. So this is, I would say, not the easiest to pull, but a bit easier, I would say, than the average Glaring Gallery card. But I think this is going to be a good one, and it already is doing really well, and it's already up on the past 6 months. Pikachu, big fan favorite, amazing artwork for an amazing set, and it still is worth a good amount of value in a 10. So yeah, pretty good for me. There you have it, guys. Those are 8 great cards that you can pick up right now from the Sword and Shield and the Scarlet and Violet era, and they're all pretty cheap, right? I tried to aim for these to be, you know, around about $20 or less, $15 to $20, which I think is very, very good, right? I think that's a good place to be, is to pick up some cards that are cheap in price, to have that good PSA 10 potential, and, you know, just great cards and your collection. And especially with the older sets like Evolving Skies, it's getting really, really expensive and tough to get these cards, so maybe just buying them as they are is your best bet, right? It is just your best bet. And again, if you're looking to get it graded, make sure the condition is great. So, you know, be careful when you do pick up some of these cards. But overall, I think these are really, really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else is going to come up regarding prices dropping in, you know, cards dropping in price. We can pick up some goodies. You know me, I love my bargains. That can be something to look forward to. But if you made it this far in the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content, guys. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Which one's your favorite card from today out of the 8 cards that we looked at? For me personally, I don't have the Pikachu from Crown Zenith. Like, I really want that Pikachu. I haven't got it. It's kind of weird. I've opened up so much Crown Zenith and have so much of that set. I don't actually have it. So that's probably one I'm eyeing up. I do have the Chansey. I think that's a beautiful illustration rare. The Umbreon VMAX, of course, I do have from Evolving Skies. I don't have the Slowpoke yet. I do have the Poliwhirl. Giovanni's Charisma is an amazing trainer card, which I do like. So that might also be one from 151 that I might be eyeing up as well. But that is it from me, guys, in today's video. If you watch more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on screen. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.